I'm wearing white pants today, Dennis. I'm a man of the people.
It's past Labor Day. What the hell are you wearing white pants for?
Because I'm a man of the people. We don't.
You're a fashion anarchist, is what you are.
The people don't care about arbitrary rules. They want results.
I'm Arizona Family political editor Dennis Welch.
Dennis, fake news Welch. Try to tell the truth.
And this is the Politics Unplugged podcast.
Dennis, if you have a problem with substance abuse, I am more than willing to talk to you anytime you need.
Welcome back to another edition of Politics Unplugged, the podcast. Today, we're joined by Joe Wolf, Democratic political consultant and strategist here in Arizona. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, Dennis.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by here. Got a lot to talk about. We haven't had to, correct me if I'm wrong, Colin. We haven't had done the podcast here for like a couple of weeks now.
It's been like 3 weeks, yeah.
Yeah. We've had it's not been so much a hiatus. It's just things have gotten in the way.
I haven't gotten around to it.
It's gotten in the way. So in that time, Democratic Party elected a new chairwoman.
That's right, we did. Charlene Fernandez.
Charlene Fernandez, former state lawmaker, former minority leader in the House, too.
And Biden appointee.
Yeah. So wanted to bring you on and talk about state of the party.
Okay.
And if I was to sum it up, and I don't want to get too technical, state of the party, Democratic Party across the country, the image is crap. Garbage. So is it
steaming garbage?
Hot steaming garbage right now. Was it 60?
Tire fire, maybe? Is that
was it? I saw 63%. There's a recent poll put out. 63% with a Wall Street Journal. 63% have an unfavorable opinion, the voters, unfavorable opinion of the Democratic Party. What the hell? How'd the party get here?
To think they have that opinion and most of them haven't even met me.
Well, we've got some time.
We can take that number so much higher.
We've got some time. You can bring the party's favorables down further here. You've got the opportunity.
God, mission accepted.
But how the hell did this happen?
How did it happen?
I just want to get your take. I've got some theories, but I want to hear your take.
Yeah, that's a great question. How did we get here? Well, look, politics, right? It's the pendulum swings. Someone is deeply unpopular. I mean, look what Republicans were, right before Donald Trump came around. I mean, they were deeply, deeply unpopular. So these things do happen, right? You do kind of get into these periods of just deep unfavorability, if you will. I think our current predicament has a lot to do with, I think people feel lied to about the state of President Biden's competence towards the back end of that admin. We were being told and lectured, and look, I was guilty of kind of pushing this, to reporters I was talking to at the time because we were kind of getting, talking points coming down from the mothership, if you will. It's a presidential year. Everything's feeding up to that. We were all lied to about his state of competency. I mean, this guy was not fit to run for re-election. Then all of a sudden, everything is laid bare.
In that debate,
and then it's like the sky is falling. Like we have nothing, right? We are in a bad spot. And look, Donald Trump is got to be the most unique figure in American politics since JFK, maybe before that, right? I mean, like there's, whether you love him or hate him, there's like this singular gravity to him and what he does to an electorate. So, I think you cannot just run. There's nothing straightforward about that campaign. And if you're not able to block and tackle and prosecute a case and demonstrate why you're better for this country and why this guy is not good for the country, you're lost. And we didn't do that. So I think there's a lot of anger around Biden, the switch to Harris, the collapse of that campaign in real time, and the blame game that's kind of going around from that. I think look, I think there's probably some other underlying issues with the progressive wing of the party and the perceived, fallout from the, excesses of the woke DEI, Me Too movement of, 2020, 21-ish, when that was kind of in really full swing. But I think it really does all start from the top there, and just people were like, I would have never. I didn't vote for Kamala Harris. That's why I voted for Trump, because this was terrible. Why would I want to associate with this? And also, the Democratic Party is also very fractured too, right? I mean, I feel like Trump, again, I talk about that gravity. It's like all these disparate parts of the Republican Party all do funnel and roll up to him, where it's like, who's the leader of the Democratic Party today? I don't know there's one person. For every, Mark Kelly and, pragmatic,
That's what the
no
fight.
nonsense.
That's what the fight is about now.
Dim,
the inter-party fight, right?
And
It's
then
about
you've
who's going to
got,
lead.
Yeah, Mondami and AOC and Bernie. And look, and here's the thing: even the progressive wing, like, there's big differences. I mean, look at the way AOC kind of comports herself these days versus the way she came into Congress and the way the rest of that wing of the party still behave. I mean, even she's differentiated herself. So there's a lot going on in the Democratic Party that makes it kind of hard to say, hey, what's the one thing you guys are doing right? Like,
Yeah, I'm not sure what if anything the Democrats are doing right, and I do agree with you. I think the Biden stuff about his competency is a big deal, and it plays into a lot about this unfavorable opinion with voters of the party. And I think adjacent to that is I think the Democratic Party just was ignoring voters and their own voters, because in poll after poll for a long time leading up to this, voters were telling we're telling the party, like, we don't think Joe Biden is ready to be president for another term. We think he's too old. I mean, and Joe Biden actually, had suggested that he would be a bridge president when he was elected in 2020. And I think a lot of voters feel, again, like you said, lied to. And what do you think Democrats got to do to get back on track? I mean, this is why we started the conversation mentioning that Charlene Fernandez is the new party chair, because we had somebody that was elected, Branscombe was elected in January. They didn't like him. They got rid of him and bringing in Charlene Fernandez. She's got a massive job to do, and she's coming in really, it feels like she's coming in kind of underwater. She's 300,000 voter registration folks. She's behind the Republican Party by 300,000 voter registration. She's got this negative approval rating of the Democrats. How does she turn the ship?
Well, so let me slightly reject the premise.
Oh, you can fully reject it,
right?
dude.
Like let's start with, I don't know that any of those are her problems to fix, right? So what is the state party? Can we start there?
Okay, or maybe not fix, at least overcome.
Sure,
You'd agree with that.
No, I don't know that. I think that's Katie Hobbs's job, right? Like, that's
Okay.
Adrian Fontez's job. Those are the candidates, right? Like, the party. Let's separate. Like, okay, like, party, Republican Party, Dem Party.
Yeah.
There is the physical party. There is the bank account, the EIN number that is the Arizona Democratic Party, right? And then there is the brand that is intrinsically linked to the candidates themselves, right? So, like, to me, like, Charlene's job is to steady the ship, right? The state party is a vehicle. It's a vehicle for money to go into. It's a place for staff to be warehoused. It's a data repository for, all the voter data that we generate, that these campaigns spin off, right? And making sure that it's clean and up to date and available, right? Like, the party is a utility belt for campaigns, right? It is a I've used this with you before. It's a clearinghouse. It's a clearinghouse for money, right? And Branscombe's downfall is that he was screwing with all of that, is that he fired a bunch of staff the day he walked in and then said, there was no transition document. Well, the staff that were going to help you do that, you literally fired, right? And then there was concern about the money that was being raised by the various candidates to then support those candidates and where that was going to go and if he was going to abide by those agreements that the party had previously had with our statewide elected officials. So like, Branscombe didn't understand the job. Right. So, like, to me, and I've known Charlene for a long time. I've known Charlene since I moved here, and she was in the legislature, and I was helping Dems raise money.
I've covered her for a long time, too.
Charlene's great. And I think Charlene's going to do a great job because she has deep relationships with just about every single elected official. She served with Governor Hobbs when they were in the legislature together. She's from, I think, is it San Luis or Yuma proper, but she's known, like, Luis Heredia, for example, who is Mark Kelly's state director, right? Like, deep relationships with all of these candidates going back years. Her children are obviously deeply involved in politics. So she understands what the party is, what it does, and what it takes to have that party at a highly functioning level where it can support these candidates who can then go out and help fix the brand and help sell people on, like, voting for us will improve your quality of life. Voting for us is stability. Voting for us is economic growth. It's quality of life. It's having people who care about your kids and making sure that, you're going to get the best health care you can, that we're going to have a good education system, that we're going to make investments, right? as opposed to the other guy, right? Like that's the job, right? We're selling the vision of the Democratic Party, and it's the candidates who sell that. Like the Dem Party doesn't. The DNC, everyone talks about the DNC. The DNC doesn't do anything. Like, the DNC has very little to do with the presidential race. Like the president's team, the president's re-election team dictates the posture of the DNC and the staff that are there and what they do with the money they raise. That has nothing to do with the campaigns that are actually run. So I mean, to me, like the problem is, and again, you mentioned 300,000, voter registration deficit. It was what, 250,000 when Governor Hobbs ran, getting on 3 years ago. I mean, look, that's roughly 200 to 300,000. That is just historical deficit that Dems face. Like, look, this is a red state.
I may have to factor. I think that it was far less than that. I think it might have been under 200,000. The gap, if you not too long ago. But I do want to say, like, yeah, I mean, I get the distinction you're saying. Like, the message has got to be delivered by the candidates. But one of the things that is important to campaigns is money, and the Democratic Party, Arizona Democratic Party, hasn't been raising a lot of money.
Yeah, because
and it hasn't figured out how to register. Get more people registered as Democrats. I mean, that's kind of the blocking and tackling of politics, money and voter registration.
Who raises that money? Charlene Fernandez, like
the chair of the party.
She makes calls to individual donors, but it's candidates raising the money that then goes into it, right? The money that was used to run the coordinated campaigns that do the voter registration work, right, for all those Senate races, that's raised in D.C. by Chuck Schumer and then contributed to the party by the various other entities, right?
And chairs of the parties have been are fundamental historically in raising money to making their own phone calls.
If the chair does their job, the chair is more or less interchangeable, right? If Charlene does her job and does a very good job, that will equate her to Raquel Turan and Alexis Kinsey before that, right? And every other chair that came before. Like, that is, like, if you are doing your job, you have a highly functioning party that then allows the DSCC, the DGA, the DCCC to come in and then fund the various coordinated campaigns and then do the voter reg work, do the blocking and tackling, do the outreach, run those GOTV programs, right? Like that's not Charlene's job. Charlene's job is to be a steady hand and to make sure the party is in a really good place, good relationships with those elected officials, good relationship with those national committees, like a really good place to be able to take in those funds, have people to have faith that, yes, we're going to make those investments, to have a good data operation, to have good staff. So when it's time to staff up and these campaigns want to hire tons of organizers to go out and do these things, that like it's going to be run out of the party. And like that, so like that to me is just the fundamental understanding of like, bridging that divide of like what Charlene's job is, right? And like I said, I don't have the exact number of what the voter registration deficit was, the exact number going into the 2020 election.
And you may be right. I'm not able.
It's always a couple 100,000, right? Like Dems are we are historically a couple 100,000 underneath Republicans, right? And it's our job, what we do, how we win elections, is that we go communicate with a very narrow sliver of the electorate of college-educated Republicans, Republican women, mothers, and college-educated, high-income independents, like sanity over chaos. Do you want that, or do you want a steady hand, like lowercase d Democrat? Like we are, here are the issues that we care about, but more importantly than anything, we're not them. That's how you win in Arizona.
So, you'd mentioned it's the candidates with the message. I mean, what do they got to do differently then? I mean, it seems like this could be a drag next year heading into the midterms with Democratic approvals and favorables, unfavorables at like real low numbers.
Sure, but like also it could be a drag on Republicans that Donald Trump is also deeply, deeply unpopular. And you look at a district,
but he's not as unpopular as Democrats.
Yeah, but that's Democrats plural. Like I can point to one person, Juan Ciscomani.
Yeah,
are you voting with Trump? Yes or no? Right? Like, are you happy with the things he's voting on and the cuts that are going to come to Southern Arizona because of the One Big Beautiful Bill? That's the question. And I can tie him, like, where it's, the Democrats are unpopular. Okay, what issue are you tying me to, right? If you're the nominee, I think it's Joanna Mendoza who's going to be the nominee down there. She can stand up and say, look, I'm going to Washington to represent you. Like, sure, I am a Democrat and Democrats aren't popular, but here's what he did with Donald Trump, right? Like that is always going to resonate more because we can tie that to specific action taken by a specific person as opposed to this nebulous Democrats, right? So again, like, yes, it's a drag, but Republicans have their own problems, right? And I think what we're all trying to sort through is that we're in this weird place where everybody's unpopular. So sure, we're slightly less unpopular, or slightly more unpopular, but it's not like there's a shining knight in the corner that everyone's flocking to, right?
Yeah.
So I think kind of getting at your ultimate question is, how do Democrats fix this? To me, like, I don't know that there's like a single thing or a single action that can be taken, right? I think the great equalizer is always a presidential election, like getting to 2028 and, Donald Trump launches some weird legal maneuver to run again, or it's Don Jr., or God knows what happens. But, Donald Trump is more or less sunset, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does J.D. Vance try to inherit the throne? Does Don Jr. try to inherit? Like, who comes out of the woodwork over there? And then what's probably going to be a really, really robust, right, Democratic primary where you have 2 U.S. senators here who are kind of toying with it. I mean, Rubin was in Iowa, right? Mark Kelly's been doing a lot of national press. You've got J.B. Pritzker. You've got Gavin Newsom, who's got his own problems, but he can raise an enormous sum of money. You've got
I think
Warnock. You've got Bashir. Like, these some very talented politicians. Gretchen Whitmer.
Well, this is the moment the party out of power. I mean, they're all selling their idea. They're taking their ideas to the marketplace and seeing what they can sell.
Yeah.
And I get that, but
I think it's deeper than that, Dennis. Though, right? Like, to me, it's okay. They're taking it to the marketplace to see if it sells, but that's a kind of a presidential election itself is a galvanizing event, right?
Yeah.
And politics is inherently emotional. So if you get an emotional connection, that I'm reliable, that I'm honest with you, that I'm not Joe Biden, I'm not Kamala Harris, that I'm going to listen to you, that I'm going to understand that Americans broadly, wanted far more done on immigration than Joe Biden ever would, right? Like resetting the equation a little bit in terms of like what issue sets you're going to push and how you're going to frame them, right? 'Cause some of it is a matter of affect too. And it's like, can you do this in a way that makes you emotionally appealing to these voters who are saying, like, look, I voted for Trump because I couldn't stand what I was hearing and seeing out of Biden. I was angry, but man, like, the economy's not good. We're in a recession. I'm feeling really bad, and my health care was cut because of stuff in the big beautiful bill, and et cetera, right? So to me, like, I think it's just it's the excitement and that marketplace of ideas being pushed out there and allowing new faces to come in and kind of try their hand. Like, that's just a very naturally galvanizing event that sucks up all the auction room. That's all the coverage is going to be. And that will kind of redefine what it is to be a Democrat. Because, I mean, again, go way back to Bill Clinton. Like, what Mike Dukakis ran on versus what Bill Clinton ran on was very, very different.
Yeah, right? a lot of Democrats really still harbor a grudge with Bill Clinton for making they say for making the party more center right.
Yeah, and he completely reset the narrative of the Democratic Party going into that, and so I mean, to me, it's kind of fighting as a party nationwide, not necessarily just here in Arizona. It's about kind of living the fight another day and getting to 2028.
Well, let me ask you before we get out of here, because we are just a few months away from the actual start of the election year. You were on board with Katie Hobbs back in the 22 campaign.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what your role is now, if you have any. What does she have to do to win a second term?
So, I think she's done a wonderful job. Let me back up. I'm still advising in a very limited capacity, so not nearly as involved as I was last time. I think she's going to win. I think she is well on her way to winning. I think she's the odds-on favorite to win. So what does she have to do? I think she's done a really good job of staying true to her promises during the 2022 campaign and being middle of the road.
Not on ESAs.
What?
She said she went to roll back ESAs.
She did not say she was going to roll back ESAs.
She done anything on ESAs.
She did not say she's going to roll back ESAs. That was never a part of the campaign.
No, it wasn't a part of the campaign?
It never said we were going to roll back ESAs.
I thought that was part of it.
Show me the clip where she said she's going to roll back ESAs.
I don't think good podcasting would be good me scrolling through this right now. Or it was either that or like it was like part of her first State of the State speech. It was a big priority.
I think it was putting.
She also said she was going to be the most
guardrails.
transparent governor.
I think she's been pretty transparent.
I don't think she has.
I think she's been transparent.
I don't
It's
think.
when is it transparent enough for you guys? Come on, like don't give me that crap. Come on, it's not transparent enough because it doesn't take all my calls.
Wow. That's a terrible impersonation of me and Colin.
I say it with love.
Okay, so what has she done then?
What has she done?
What's the big thing? Like the average person on the street, like, look, they did this. She did this.
She got rid of the rental tax, right? You can say I cut taxes on renters. I mean, like, come on, that's a great one for a Democrat. I cut taxes. Oh, full disclosure, my client pushed that bill. But like, there's tons of stuff out here for the governor to work on, right? I mean, she's taken a lot of action on water. She's taken a lot of action on cost of living. I mean, look through her EOs. I mean, like, she's been a very, very active governor in ensuring that, Arizonans feel that she's fighting for their best interest, that she is someone who understands being not wealthy, right? Not independent wealthy, not coming at this. Like, that cost of living is an incredibly important thing for her. She's done a lot on the economy, helping to push, again, making helping ensure like healthcare is more affordable, lots of executive action on housing and things like that. So I think, look, if she just tells the story of like, I have been middle of the road, right? Like what has she done that you would call outright, like, just blatantly partisan? Like, you're seeing what's going on in Texas and other states right now. Like, she's been a governor that's been very middle of the road, very determined to respect all Arizonans, taking action on water, just common sense issues that aren't necessarily partisan in their nature, right? And things that she's just focused on, and kept a relentless focus on growing the economy and making this a better place to live for everyone. I think you tell that story that's like, I've been a good steward of this state. I have continued to advocate for growth. I've continued to be down the middle of the road, and like, I am prioritizing sanity over chaos. I am prioritizing economic growth and just ensuring that we bring jobs here, that we're a great place to bring your business, to grow your business, to start your business. I think that will resonate very, very well with Arizonans across the state. And at the end of the day, I don't see what Karen Taylor Robeson's really running on, other than I'm not Katie Hobbs. I certainly don't see what Andy Biggs, is running on, other than I'm the Turning Point guy. They're not really offering a competing vision, other than they will in their minds be the Republicans. So the Republican nominee. And I think Andy Biggs in particular has just a long record of
some interesting votes,
some very interesting votes over the years that I don't think Arizonans would find very moderate or pragmatic or middle of the road, or frankly, directed towards their just overall economic well-being. I don't think Karen Taylor Robeson is currently running a campaign capable of beating him. Time will tell. But there's just nothing particularly new or exciting coming out of that camp that I think resets the paradigm that helps her get through a Republican primary. Lord knows what is going on with Schweikert. I don't think he ultimately does it. I'm really getting tired of this, will he, won't we game. But if he gets in the race, I think that will just screw the field even more.
Well, David Schweikert was supposed to, Congressman David Schweikert was supposed to have made an announcement by now. There's plenty of rumors rolling around about what he's going to do. Would be interesting if he jumped in.
It would be interesting. It would certainly change the race, but I don't know that I don't see his path. What's his selling point? I mean, that he's the numbers guy.
Yeah,
I'm the budget guy.
I don't know. Well, Biggs could say he's the budget guy.
They both could. But so that's my point. Is he he's gonna say he's the budget guy? Well, so could Biggs. He's gonna say, I love Donald Trump, and the other two are gonna say we're both endorsed by Trump. And he's like, well, I can appeal to moderates. Well, that's what.
Are there moderates left in the primaries?
I have no idea. I mean, like that. I've given up trying to pretend what satisfies that electorate. That's such a.
Well, I mean, and just in both parties, are there moderates in the Democratic primaries?
Sure, I'm a moderate, and I vote in the Dem primary.
I don't think you're representative of the average voter, Joe.
I told you, I'm a man of the people.
Yeah, man of the people. Man o' the people.
Man of the people. Right. Look, I think, yes, I mean, I just don't know what his lane is. I have not seen him articulate as he's doing this dance anything. So I think all he interjects is chaos into this primary.
We're about to end it there. Running a little
it's a quick session.
A little long. No, not quite. 20 6 minutes.
26 minutes flies by talking with
that's
you.
That's a lot of time. That's a lot of wolf time.
Oh. No, I'm just flattered you have me back, you know. Over here just saying, you know, just bringing me on to shoot the breeze about Democrats. Isn't that fun?
Yeah. So before I let you go, you know, pop culture question, you know, entertainment, any movies you're excited to see this fall?
Any movies? Yeah, I want to see the new Paul Thomas Anderson film.
Okay.
You know, Boogie Nights is still one of my favorite movies.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's a great one. I think it's Burt Reynolds' best movie, actually.
Yeah, doesn't Mark Wahlberg regret making that movie?
Yeah,
now?
he hates it.
It's his best movie.
It's
his best work.
It's his best work. But it's also it also reminds me.
I mean,
of
since his rap videos, it's his best work.
Well, you know, it reminds me of way back when John C. Reilly was like a serious actor and did real roles and didn't do comedy, and then you got a young Don Cheadle trying to be a speaker salesman despite not knowing anything about speakers. I always love that.
Oh yeah, that was good. Last weekend I saw The Long Walk.
The Long Walk.
Yeah, it was based on a Stephen King book.
Okay.
Very good.
Yeah.
Dark. It's not like a go-to. It's not like I'm going to be watching that just as some comfort movie someday. It's like I had nothing to watch. I'll just watch it. It's kind of a dark, but it's a good movie. Yeah, check it out.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thanks for that, and then try to stay dry today.
Are you going to leave the studio today, or you're just going to hunker down?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll probably
just pre-record 3 more episodes of Unplugged, and I'm taking a.
There's always a possibility to send me out in the rain and do a weather hit too.
You'd be a great weatherman.
No.
As you can see here, it's raining.
No, I'm not what they call smart.
Well, neither am I, Dennis. It makes 2 of us.
So what are you seeing out there? I don't know.
There's some rain. It's wet.
Ponding? Do you call it ponding? Where water collects and gathers.
Here, Phoenician, who's soaking wet. What do you think about the rain? Is it inconvenient at all? How do you plan to dry off today?
All right, man. With that, we'll end it right there. Thanks for stopping by, man. And welcome back to the second half of the Politics Unplugged podcast. Colin Stanton.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, too. It's been a while.
At the table.
Yeah.
I mean, I see you every day, but we haven't been at the podcast table for a couple, as they say in the south side of Chicago, a couple, 2-3 weeks.
Yeah. No, we didn't do one because I was on vacation, and then I came back, and then you had one with Morgan and Brianna Whitney talking about the Charlie Kirk stuff.
Yeah,
so that sort of
last week we were that story took up all our bandwidth.
Yes. Yeah. So we're back.
Yeah. So
anything happened while we were gone?
No, nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's raining as we tape.
Yeah, it is.
That's the big news right now. But let's kind of recap. It's been a week now. The Charlie Kirk tribute memorial. Some call it a political rally. You know, it certainly had elements of all of that.
It did.
To me, I thought that the lead of that coming out is just the contrast between Erica Kirk and President Trump. You had Erica Kirk, who had made this emotional statement at one point saying that she had forgiven the shooter. She was followed up by President Donald Trump, who is saying that he hated his political enemies and doesn't want good things for them. I thought it was a real study in some very in contrast there, 2 very different messages. What was your takeaway?
Yeah, I mean that was where it became a really, really rough juxtaposition, and there was a lot of it throughout the day. I mean, we had even once it got to the political speakers. Some of them were memorializing Charlie Kirk. Marco Rubio was it was a respectful memorialization of Charlie Kirk. And even people who, if they want to lob bombs, they didn't. Tucker Carlson was, again, very religious-based memorial to Charlie Kirk. You had, and then you had guys like Stephen Miller, who,
boy, that was an angry speech.
Yeah. It was angry and out of place and pretty remarkably offensive if you listen to what he was saying.
Yeah.
I
mean, it was there's a lot of folks really question was that the time and place to, give a speech like a hardcore a anti-immigration speech.
Yeah, I mean, the core of the speech was Erica Kirk is going to be fine because of her great white European heritage.
Yeah.
That was an ugly speech. Erica Kirk gave a speech that clearly moved the audience very much, including her forgiveness for the shooter. And, that was certainly the emotional center point of the entire day. And then when she's done, they've got the pyro like it's a Kiss concert, and Trump comes out and laughs about how he hates his enemies. It was a weird cap to the day.
It was
man.
weird, too, because, it also had a very, mega church evangelical quality to it because, you had a lot of. You had some, I think it started, the list of speakers started with Charlie Kirk's pastor, right? And, there was a lot of that, a lot of discussion about, Charlie Kirk's faith and how strong he was. His wife comes out and forgives the shooter. She gets a lot of applause for that.
Yeah.
President comes out and says, I hate my enemies. He gets applause for that from the same crowd. It was just, it was something else to watch. I really don't know what to make of that. The crowd size on that was just impressive.
Oh yeah.
I think what was the official count on that? Was it?
I never heard an official count. It looked like the seating area of the stadium was pretty solidly full. Yeah. I know they had runoff in the hockey arena. I'm not sure how much that. I don't know how many were there, but that's a heck of a turnout.
Yeah, that was a big turnout. I think too. I mean, that moment will be remember for quite a while. They made Charlie Kirk into a martyr.
Yeah.
And they're moving forward with that. From what I understand, Turning Point USA has been raising a lot of money since then. And they're continuing to be a very significant political force in Arizona politics and the country's politics.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see whether they can keep that up. Because certainly people will be eager to support them now, but it's not a situation where Charlie Kirk was where he was because of Turning Point. It's based around Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, it was Charlie Kirk was Turning Point.
Yes,
and when you lose that kind of a charismatic leader like that, that is a big blow.
Yeah,
and those are big shoes to fill.
And I don't know that they have someone who can do that. I mean, Erica Kirk will be a wildly popular figure among that crowd, but that doesn't mean that she can do what he can do because historically there really wasn't much of anyone who could do what he was doing. Yeah. Bringing young people into the Republican Party has historically been a really, really tall order. And he was doing it, and it's not like you can just plug someone in, no matter how much they are liked by the party, by conservatives. It doesn't mean they can work out as a figurehead for something like Turning Point.
Wow, man, pretty amazing. Any other stories past 2-3 weeks stick out for you?
I mean, the Kimmel and the whole free speech issue has been a strange one. For people who work in broadcasting, seeing the eagerness of the networks to just roll over and do whatever Trump wants, it has really been concerning because CBS has torn down its news department to make him happy. They fired Colbert to make him happy. And now ABC was willing to do the same thing until Disney got a massive backlash and realized that it's not a popular view.
No, they're going to learn that they'll never be happy. If you give the lessons to be learned so far is if you give this administration anything, they're going to come back and want more.
Yes. And the tricky thing, and it shouldn't have been tricky, but it became tricky for Disney, was that you had Nexstar and Sinclair as major owners of the local affiliates who are also working on mergers. And particularly Sinclair, but also Nexstar, are absolutely hard-right MAGA organizations. Mm-hmm. Sinclair is a notorious, order your news anchors to read this statement, MAGA company. And both of these companies are looking to expand. Nexstar is buying Tegna. owners of Channel 12.
Yep.
So they are going to do everything they can to kiss up to the Trump administration, and that's why they drew this line on Kimmel, because honestly what Kimmel said was not what people have acted like he said. He linked the shooter in Utah to having MAGA beliefs, which at this point appears he does not. Which, shouldn't have said it. It was a mistaken thing to say. He's not a news anchor. He's a stand-up comic.
Yeah. But
it's something he shouldn't have said, but to act like, it's been twisted into he was making fun of Charlie Kirk's assassination, and that's not within 1,000 miles of what he did. And this was all just a fight over a bunch of right-wing media groups trying to kiss up to Trump.
And what do you think of the apology or statement when he came back? We've been in news for a long time, and for those who don't know, you can get pretty cynical.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think it was authentic?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
And Kimmel's good at that sort of thing. He can do heartfelt as well as snarky.
Yeah.
And yeah, I believe it was heartfelt. He didn't make fun of Charlie Kirk. He didn't belittle Charlie Kirk in the original statement. And he made it clear in his apology that he didn't and would not have done that. And that the attacks on him were frankly kind of scary. This is not what you see in a democracy.
And he did a good job, I thought. And to be clear, I'm not a fan of Jimmy Kimmel. I don't really watch the show.
I haven't watched a late night show since Letterman. And honestly, since Letterman was on NBC.
I don't actively dislike Jimmy Kimmel, and I see a few clips pop up here and there, and they're fine one way or the other or whatnot. I did think it was interesting that he made it not about him. He made him as part of this bigger kind of story about free speech and about, what the government may or may not be doing right now. And I think that's important right now. I think looking back and I'm seeing a lot of what's happening now, like a lot of things we just took for granted, I think, and I think the First Amendment is something that has been taken for granted for a long time. Instead of like stepping back and looking back and looking around the world and then looking at what the freedoms we have here, instead of looking at the First Amendment kind of in awe, like, wow, we are allowed to do that.
Yeah.
We just take it for granted.
Yes. And people throw around references to the First Amendment a lot when it comes to people getting blowback for things they say. And frequently, more often than not, has absolutely nothing to do with the First Amendment. This one solidly did.
Yes,
this was the government telling them either he gets off the air or there will be serious ramifications. You can do this the easy way or the hard way, which the FCC guy later said wasn't any sort of threat. Why does anyone take that as a threat?
It's just funny to me too. I'm always reminded when the free speech arguments ramp up from time to time how so many people want to invoke free speech and so few people really understand what it is.
Yeah.
It protects you from the prosecution of your government. Hence why this was different than other situations.
This was the prosecution of your government.
Yeah.
This was the government going after him and taking him off the air.
It's not Twitter or Facebook, private companies they can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Just like the local restaurant down here, if they want me to wear a shirt, tie, and shoes, that's what I got to wear.
Yeah.
It's like the old Fast Times at Ridgemont High, no shirt, no shoes, no service.
No dice.
No dice.
No dice.
I mean, like...
Yeah. I've seen it a few times.
You guys had shirts when you came in here.
Also, a side note, you mentioned that you don't watch these shows.
Yeah.
I used to watch Letterman religiously, but I stopped doing that, and I shudder to think how long it's been since I regularly watch these shows. It's been probably 20 years. They've never been at a lower level of cultural significance than they are now.
No.
You go back to Jack Parr and Carson and all that. The late night talk shows have always been a big deal, and now they're absolutely not.
If you start looking at the viewership, that ironically, what happened is this administration gave Jimmy Kimmel a much larger platform than he initially had. My understanding is he averages about 1 million viewers a night.
Yeah, and he got 6 million.
He got 6 million, and that doesn't include all the streaming and all the people who just watched his monologue on YouTube and all that other
Which
stuff.
the last number I heard, and this was a long time ago, I believe was 25 million on YouTube. Yeah, it's huge. I just find it funny that Trump is so obsessed with the late night talk guys. He got Colbert taken off the air and was dancing, and then he got Kimmel taken off the air and was dancing.
Boomer
and was proclaiming how he was going after
boomer mentality, dude.
Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers. And I think most of America was like, Seth Meyers has a show? It's like his obsession with I'm gonna get Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers. Like, who cares, man?
It's that boomer mentality, man. I mean, like, there's people out there that still get a physical newspaper.
I guess. I mean, he thinks he took down Carson. And
oof. But, one of the points I was going to make, though, you start looking at the numbers. I mean, but look at what Johnny Carson's average nightly audience was.
Yeah, it's huge.
It dwarfed what we're talking about now.
Yes. Yeah.
Every night.
Yeah.
So to your point, like, yeah, I mean, it's the cultural significance is far lower than that. I mean, a good clip though gets passed around a lot on social media, so there is some of that. But you're right. I mean, these folks, these voices are not speaking to America. Like, I think you could argue Johnny Carson's monologue was speaking to a big chunk, if not a majority of America every night.
Yes.
I mean, even growing up, I mean, remember my grandpa would stay up, watch the Carson monologue. Yeah. If there was a big star that they wanted to see, they might stick through the first segment and then go to bed. Yeah. If not, they'd watch the monologue, go to bed.
Yeah.
That was Carson.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like that for years and years. Mm. And it's not anymore. It has dwindled.
Yeah. All right, man, before we get out of here, can we talk about the absolutely terrible, horrible, worst, god-awful day ever for Arizona sports fans?
Sure.
On Thursday?
Yeah.
To recap, the sport ball of the day, the Diamondbacks got shellacked by the Dodgers. Yeah. Probably played their way out of the wild card game. And then
possibly. One of my boys was at the game.
Okay.
With very nice seats.
Okay.
He was not happy with the result, but did kind of enjoy watching Shohei Ohtani golf one into the pool. He really, he enjoys seeing someone hit the pool, even if it's the other team.
Well, as long as the Dodgers didn't pee in the pool afterwards.
Yeah, no, I believe there was no incursion into the pool.
Okay, good, because that's still that's still
a sore point.
Yeah.
No, losing 8-0, and it was. I mean, it was like first inning, and the thing was over.
Yeah, and the stupid bullpen game. It makes no sense to me why that they wanted to save Gallen for that. Like, look, if you lost that game, today's game wouldn't have mattered much anyway.
Yeah.
You're at a point in the season where you should be playing every game like an elimination, and he's going with a bullpen game.
Yeah.
He's going with Beeks.
Yeah.
With Beeks to start pitch one inning, and then what's his name? Come on, man.
Yeah, I know. I don't get it.
So the day started off with that lovely bag of steaming garbage, and then looked like the Cardinals were on for an equally impressive loss for the first 3 quarters of that game.
Yeah, they came back at the end, but it was not a good day. No. It was not a good day.
No.
And they, if anyone missed it, they lost on a last-second field goal.
Again, second week in a row.
Yeah. Yeah. The team just looks horribly disjointed. And
the offense looks horribly disjointed.
The offense is horribly disjointed. The number of passing plays where Kyler's throwing it to God knows where, it gets picked off. And clearly it's someone didn't know where they were supposed to go. I don't know if it's Kyler who doesn't know where the receiver is supposed to go or the receiver doesn't know where they're supposed to go. They are reading the plays differently. But
at one
they're
point,
not running the routes he's anticipating.
Yeah, at one point, like one of the best things, and I don't remember who I read this from, but it was on social media. Somebody had posted, it said something like, "There's absolutely no way Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler Murray go to the same practices during the week." I mean, that's the way it looked like.
Yes,
that's the way it continues to look like.
Yeah,
does one quarter turn it around? Ask J.J. McCarthy. For those who don't know, J.J. McCarthy had an amazing 1 quarter.
Yeah.
And then
didn't
have any good quarters. After.
Yeah. I mean, Harrison had a few great plays at the end.
Yeah.
He was largely why they got back into it.
Yeah. And
but was genuinely awful before that.
Yeah, and you got to hand it to the kid. I mean, there were people on social media, and all over, calling him a bust, calling for him to be benched, saying his career may be over. It's a bust. For him to come back and make those catches were like props.
Yeah.
And I missed a lot of this, and you know this because we were texting during the game.
Yes.
And I got fed up, and I'm like, I'm over it. I'm out. Took my dog for a walk.
Yes.
Little Joan, she got to bark at some neighborhood cats.
Yeah.
And then I get this update from Apple. It says, check out the thrilling ending or something like that. To this kind of and I sent it to you. I'm like, this is a hoax?
Yeah. I don't know. 7-point game. Cardinals have the ball on the 50.
Like, no way.
Yeah.
So I get back in time to watch them tie up the game and then just crap the bed on that kickoff.
Yeah. Yeah, the kicker screws up the kickoff. They get the ball on the 40, literally one pass play, and they're in field goal range. It was a glimmering moment of hope at a tie game that was immediately dashed by the Seahawks. It was a concerning game. I mean, it was, obviously it was close. It came down to a last-second field goal. It did not feel close watching the game.
No.
It was the Cardinals looked just wildly inept for 3 quarters, put it together for 1 quarter, and it wasn't enough.
It's just, the lesson is that being an Arizona sport fan, it's not for the weak. It's not easy.
Yeah, I mean, our top segment on the TV show this week is on efforts to bring back a hockey team because we lost our hockey team.
Yep.
The Suns are projected to be one of the worst teams in the league this year.
Yep.
Hey, we got the Mercury.
Hey, man, get on board that train, man.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, it's surprising. We weren't planning to talk about it. Let me ask you about this because Ishbia owns both the Mercury and the Suns.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like a lot of the things that Ishbia wanted to do with the Suns, he did with the Mercury as well. He traded away a lot of folks, brought in some other bigger name players, and it worked there.
Yeah,
it's working there. It seems. Does this give him a little redemption from some of the criticism that he's been getting for his handling of the Suns?
I will say probably not on a few notes. One is it just doesn't get the attention that the Suns do, so it's not. You're not going to see that. And also structurally, it's just different because one of the biggest issues with what they did with the Suns was they put the team wildly over the salary cap in an era where you're punished just brutally for doing that. And that's not really an issue in the WNBA, which is to take nothing away from what they've done there because what they've done with that team was absolutely remarkable. They, I think there are like 2 players on the team now who were on the team last year. They just had an absolutely massive turnover. The moves they made were very, very good. They brought in excellent players. They're playing together very well. And they seem to be very, very well coached. I mean, they just knocked out the New York Liberty, which is a pretty stacked team with talent. Mm-hmm. That's a really great team. They were the defending champs. And the Liberty got, from a layman's standpoint, they look wildly outcoached. The Mercury just looked like an absolutely better team. And the Liberty coach, who's also a former Mercury coach, just got fired after that series. So Nate Tevis doing a great job with the Mercury.
Yeah, and he's from the NBA. I mean, he was a coach there. Some people are looking at that coaching job and saying, like, look, maybe if things don't work out here with Ott, the new coach of the Suns, that maybe Tibbetts could move over and start coaching there. I've heard that brought up. Maybe
I will say this: if they're looking to replace Ott anytime soon, oh my God.
Yeah, I
got to think they're going to give him a long leash. He's going to have a fairly young team. He's a young first-time coach.
I'm thinking,
and you can only fire so many coaches after 1 year.
I think you're looking at least 3 years.
Yeah, I would hope so. It would have to be an unparalleled disaster.
Yeah.
To not do that.
All right.
But yeah, no, Tibbetts has been great.
Yeah. Well, approaching the hour mark here. Before we go, we weren't expected to do this, but please, I want you to share the story of the amazing G League trade that you told me before we started recording this segment. This is absolutely wild.
Yeah. Now, so the Valley Suns just made a trade. They traded a guy named Moses Wood, who was on the team last year. He was on the Suns G League team. Moses Wood, big power forward, good outside shooter. And if you have a mental picture of what Moses Wood would look like, if you're thinking Moses Malone, Moses Wood's a skinny white guy, big, thin white guy. I don't know how many white Moses we got out there. We tend to not make a lot of those, I think. But he got traded to the Westchester Knicks for a black guy named David Duke Jr. Which is there's just something funny about a white guy named Moses being traded to a black guy named David Duke Jr. And I assume our audience would know who David Duke was.
We don't have to go through all of that. But
short version, former Klansman who ran for president.
Yeah.
And I also find it amazing that David Duke Jr. is a junior, because apparently there was a black man in America who enjoyed being David Duke in America as a black man enough that he decided to put his kid through that too.
Wow. Yeah, because that's a name that's like, you don't even, for a lot of folks, especially of a certain age, you don't have to explain who that is.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're younger.
Yeah.
But
he was a prominent and controversial figure. I mean, he was a grand dragon in the Klan, so we can use milquetoast terms like controversial, but it's, wildly racist is also an acceptable reference to David Duke.
I'm not sure, but he probably agree with you on that.
Yeah, he very well might. Yes.
On that note, let's wrap up here. I can't wait until next week to see what the hell we'll be talking about, because you just never know from week to week anymore.
Things move fast.
Got to keep up, man.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you next week. Have a great weekend.
See you later.
Thanks for listening. You can subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, the Google Store, or anywhere else you get your podcasts. See you next time.